need to build an economy that lasts. And Raleigh, that starts now. I love you back. That starts. If you love me, you got to help me pass this bill. If you love me, you got to help me pass this bill. It starts with your help.
Welcome back to Hardball. That's the president out there connecting, I think, feeling the love and taking his jobs plan to the people. But Republicans have their battle plan ready. We're going to get to it with the Hardball strategist right now tonight. Point one, are Republicans smart to just say no to everything he proposes? And part two, Ed Rollins dumps on his own candidate, Bachmann. It happened here on Hardball last night. Tonight we're getting the strategist's reaction to both those issues. Start with Steve McMahon's the Democratic strategist, Todd Harris, the Republican strategist. Gentlemen, thank you. Let's take a look at this first question. Todd, is your party smart to just say no? People out there are saying, quote after quote, are out there just dumping on this thing. They think they can win by just screwing the guy.
Well, it's not just the Republican Party saying no is actually not the president's biggest problem right now. His biggest problem.
Answer my question. Is it a smart policy to just say it? Here's Senator Jim DeMint laying out the options. Let's look what he says. Here's DeMint for Republican. Let's listen to what he says because I wonder if you agree with it.
If we vote for this plan, we'll own the economy with the president. He desperately needs someone else to blame it on. If we vote against it, he's going to try to say Congress blocked his ability to create jobs.
So are you better off saying no and screwing the president or joining him and getting blamed?
They're going to vote no. And the president's going to try to blame it on him, and it's not going to matter because this thing is dead on arrival. The president.
You're smiling, so it's a smart move.
The president was in North Carolina, gave this huge rally, lots of cheering. Kay Hagan, the Democratic senator from North Carolina, a state with almost 11% unemployment, she's opposed to this bill. His biggest problem right now are his own people.
Okay. So you're smart to say they're smart. Are they smart to say no to everything? Just let the roads rot, let the bridges fall down, let the president complain about the voting no.
You can look at their approval ratings and you can see how smart the strategy has been. People still like the president more than they like Republicans in Congress, and they trust the president more with economic problems than they trust the Republicans in Congress. This is exactly why politicians shouldn't be political consultants, because you could roll that tape again and again and again. They would rather win an election than do something for the people in this country, than give tax cuts to small business, tax cuts to veterans, tax cuts to folks who have been chronically unemployed, and I don't think that's going to play very well.
Here's some of the problem with the Democrats and why the Republicans are probably doing what you're recommending to do. Here's some Democrats' comments about the Obama jobs bill that just came out. Here's Bob Casey of Pennsylvania, a strong Obama-iac. I think the American people are very skeptical of big pieces of legislation. Senator Joe Manchin of West Virginia said, I have serious questions about the level of spending that President Obama is proposing here. And North Carolina Senator Kay Hagan, you mentioned, said, we've got to have legislation that is supported by Democrats and Republicans. I'm going to have to look at it. You're sticking with your guns on this.
Yeah, here's the problem. Nothing ever happens in politics in a vacuum. And there are voters who are looking at this new stimulus bill. And I'm not talking about the hardcore base.
He's not calling it a stimulus bill.
I know he's not.
Todd is, though.
I'm not talking about the base of the Republican Party, which always hated the first stimulus bill. I'm talking about voters in the middle. And they're saying, wait a minute, you passed a bill twice this big just 2 years ago. You said it was going to create all kinds of jobs. And where are those jobs? If passing a bill twice as big didn't create jobs, why is this one going to? So that's the first thing.
Well, that's all the tax cuts in it, too. Look, by the way, your counter proposal is Hoover. Do nothing, right?
No.
Don't spend money, don't tax, don't do anything.
This is the same absurd argument that was made with when the stimulus passed. The question is not do this or do absolutely nothing.
Well, what is the Republican? It's always cutting taxes.
John Boehner.
By the way, that's what this bill does. It cuts taxes. It extends the payroll tax for workers. It gives a tax break to employers who hire people. It gives a tax incentive to employers for hiring veterans, and it gives a tax incentive for hiring people who are long-term unemployed. These are exactly the things that Republicans have been for forever, and now all of a sudden,
I don't know if it's all for real, but let's take a look at Ed Rollins here, who's on here. Ed Rollins, Bachmann campaign manager just a few days ago, couldn't say whether he'd like to see Bachmann as president. Let's listen. He was running her campaign, and I asked him, should she be president? Let's listen.
I still want Michelle Bachmann to win the nomination.
You'd like to see her president?
I think she's a great candidate. I think she's evolved. I think she will evolve. She's got an uphill battle. She's got to get back.
Would you
in the
like
game
to see her president of the United States?
I would not be
controlling the bomb.
Well, first of all, the bomb is I want someone to control the economy.
Well, you would make her commander in chief.
Whoever's president gets to be commander in chief. The one that's in there today didn't have much.
You're
experience.
hedging. Would you like to see her commander in chief of the United States?
She's commander. She's elected president. She'll be commander in chief, and she'll do a good job.
Would you like her to be commander in chief?
I have no question that she could be a very tough.
Oh, you are so slippery, Ed. You're not answering my question, but I know I'm not getting an answer from you. How can how can you defend a candidate for months as her campaign manager to run for president of the United States, all the time being unwilling to say she ought to be president of the United States?
Kind of reminds me of Todd when we used to ask him whether or not he'd support Sarah Palin and whether he thought she should be president of the United States. Look, I think you can learn a lot from Ed Rollins' reaction right there. I don't know if he discovered after he got inside that she was utterly unprepared to be president, or if he knew it on his way in. I suspect it was the former. I hope it was the latter.
What is going on there? Sometimes the people take over campaigns. They have no faith in the candidate winning. They just like the game.
I think, with all due respect to Ed Rollins, that some political consultants need to learn it's not about them.
No, but
if you're going to run a campaign and then quit midstream, shut up. You owe an obligation to that person who's been paying you, by the way.
Okay, so what should he say when I asked her should she be president?
He shouldn't have come on the show. He shouldn't be putting himself in places. If he's not prepared to say, absolutely, she should be president of the United States, commander-in-chief. If she's not going to do that, then don't put yourself in places where you're going to get asked. It's not fair to the person that's been paying you.
Todd's right about that. I mean, no, he is absolutely right. I don't often agree with him on
So when does the problem begin? When the guy takes the job, when he realizes she's not up to the job, or when?
Look,
what do you think, Rollins? Let me ask you. You said he took the job knowing she wasn't up to it.
I said I suspected he knew that she wasn't up to it.
You think that?
But once he takes the money, he has an obligation to her, because it's like a lawyer. You sign up a client. If you quit the client, you don't give up all their secrets. You don't take their opposition research book and give it to their opponent as one of.
How did I know that he wasn't going to defend her? How did I know it? Tell me how I know it.
You're a smart guy. If you want to wait until they drop out, you can trash them all you want after that.
It's a little comic relief, but it's scary to people who really do believe in these candidates. Anyway, because they believe in the campaigns. Thank you, Steve McMahon. Thank you, Todd Harris. When we return, let me finish with why now and not next November is the critical time when voters are beginning to make their big decisions on who to have as our president. By the way, people are really beginning now to think. You're watching Hardball, only on MSNBC.